Let's do it.
We're the house sisters.
We are the house sisters.
We are actually real
sisters. Yeah. So
we get this all the time. Multiple people have thought our last name was House.
No. Our maiden last name was Chateau, but now I'm Leanne Slaton
and I'm Brittany Davis. We're both married, so we definitely don't share a last name anymore, but we are actual sisters.
And in business together, we sell homes. That is our passion.
Are the house sisters.
We are the house sisters.
Sisters selling houses.
Yes. So we kind of just wanted to clear the air on that because it just feels...
We get that all the time.
Yeah.
We also get... Is Brittany your daughter? A few times.
Yeah, sometimes we get that, and it happens way too often.
But then
for my
recently,
liking.
Someone asked who's older, Brittany, or she asked you if
they
you
asked
were
if I was the little sister, and I was
Yeah.
like, absolutely. I feel like I got redeemed a little bit because I've been accused of being the mom, but I just think maybe that's coming from the maturity that I possess when I'm like presenting myself,
or the height.
Not my actual physical appearance, but you know.
We have aunts on both sides, my mom's side and our dad's side, where there's aunts that are almost 6 feet tall.
Over 6 feet tall. So Brittany is
and our grandma is tiny, but our mom's grandma is like average height,
5'7".
and then like our dad's grandma is so tiny.
5 foot. How tall are you?
5'2".
5'2"?
Yeah, but I think I'm just a late bloomer because recently I'm 32, and recently at the doctor's they said I'm 5'3".
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So I'm 5'8". So whether she's 5'2" or 5'3" or what I always tell everybody 5 foot, there's a big difference in our height. So maybe that's why people think I'm her mom. Yeah. Like, oh, she's so young. Anyways, well, we really just want to talk about like what we're doing in our partnership and how passionate we are that we get to share this business together and kind of our backgrounds. People have a chance to get to know us.
Yeah. And it always wasn't like this. So like the evolution of like how we got here is actually kind of interesting.
It really is. So I went to Sac State straight out of high school and obtained a degree in business marketing. And Brittany joined me at Sac State for a couple of years. So there's 2 years difference between us. I was high school class of 06. She was class of 08. So when we were both at Sac State and studying, that was, just a time that we were close, but Brittany had her eyes fixed on like bigger things, other things out of the state. She was like competitively cheerleading and just really just honing in on her skills as like a gymnast and all of that. And so we'll just tell like where you went to school and all.
Yeah, so I was just like, I went to Sac State because basically you and mom were like, stay here, because I was thinking to leave. And then she was like, you can live in the dorms, like have the college experience, but
just don't go too far.
Yeah, don't go too far. And I was like, okay. And so I stayed. And then after I finished my second year at Sac State, or even my first year, because I think the first year is when I went and tried out at like Moorhead.
Yep.
And now it's in Kentucky, and cheer's just way more competitive in the southern states. So there was money available as far as scholarships goes if I moved out of state. So I was kind of just outgrowing the Sac State program, and so I ended up, after 2 years of Sac State, getting a full ride scholarship to University of Memphis, where then I finished and graduated with a degree in child development.
And my mother and I guilted her into moving home at that point. So
yeah, well, and then Leanne was also like just found out she was pregnant. So at that point, I was like, okay, I got to move home. Actually, no,
I wasn't pregnant yet.
I don't think you were pregnant yet. Yeah,
yeah.
But she soon was pregnant after that, and I'm so glad I did come home after that because, it was just a totally different. Yeah,
it was time.
Yeah,
family's got to stick together. So, so basically after college, I was bartending through college, and I bartended for a few months, and then kind of fell into the lap of real estate of a gentleman who sold my parents' house, and he was like, hey, I met with him. I was like, I want to buy a home this year. And he was like, have you ever thought about doing real estate and selling it? You seem like you'd be really good at it. And I had no interest. So about 5 months later, I went back to him and said, let me give it a try. And I did. I fell in love with it. I have not looked back. I'm in my 11th year of real estate now. And I really went to school to be in like pharmaceutical sales. So I thought, and ended up in real estate with an amazing mentor Ruben, who owns our company that we work for, and just learned so much. I literally shadowed that guy and did everything he did. And he really helped mold me into, the agent I am, and I'm so grateful. But that's kind of like how I got into real estate. And there was a blip in time when I had just gotten pregnant. Brittany had moved back. She was also bartending. You're at the Sheridan at that time. And she decided, she's like, I was begging her. I'm like, come do real estate with me. Come do real estate with me. So she jumped in and we worked together for a little bit. And I
think I sold like 3 or 4 houses, and then we kind of got in like a tiff because she's also pregnant. I was also an entitled, just recent graduate that like felt like I was, I knew everything, which I did not.
Maturity level to work together at that point. We were both like bulls in a china shop. I feel like we both were headstrong, and ego and all of that was just bigger than.
And so instead,
it could be.
I went into the sales route at the Sheridan Grand in Sacramento, into the sales department. And so I worked in there for like 5 or 7 years. Or I was at the Sheridan, I think like 7 years. I don't know.
It was
5 years.
It was a while.
And so I did that, which was actually probably the best thing because I function better. I'm like super type A in the sense of business. And so I function better on like very strict structure. And I was able to learn like the corporate sales versus like real estate. You either need to have a good like
sphere of influence, good database
but also like
people.
You have to have like a good foundation of sales in general. I feel like to be successful and like you have to have really good self accountability. Like I just wasn't there yet, and so I think learning and building this foundation of a corporate sales background was amazing for me.
Absolutely. I mean, and then so during COVID, everything was shut down. Real estate was not deemed essential for the first few weeks of the lockdown, but it soon became deemed as essential.
Yeah,
so there was
people need a place to live. Like there's still like
you have to have a place to live.
Relocations and people
things,
like
and even
around.
Like in the sense of like doctors and scientists that need to be moved across the country for certain research and stuff like that was happening. And it was like housing and having a roof and shelter over your head is absolutely essential.
Right.
But in the same token, so I was back at work. Physically back at work like pretty immediately, like I think by the first week of April in 2020, and then that was pretty much the time that Brittany, being in corporate sales for a hotel,
hospitality, hotels, and
events,
travel getting shut down,
travel and events,
like, we had to let go a ton of people, and then I remember March. The first week of March, like reassuring some of my friends that, because I had a ton of friends and networks that were in the industry at different hotels. And I'm like, the sales team's the last to go. Like, we are so protected. Like,
vital.
We're the reason why things get into the hotels. Like, we're good. And the next week we all got laid off. And it was just like, what are we going to do?
But that storm and that total disruption of your norm was the biggest blessing.
It was the push I needed because
the biggest blessing.
Back when I first got licensed in 2014, I was like, okay, I'm going to save up $30,000, and as soon as I have that nest egg, I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to do real estate full time.
Right.
And I had that. I grew my nest egg. I sold a few houses and just had that, and I was like, I can't do it.
I still don't feel comfortable enough. Maybe it's 60,000.
Yeah, maybe
to save.
Yeah,
because you couldn't trust yourself to
be consistent.
To be consistent at that point.
And it's commission only. So
so we don't get paid until we close. It doesn't matter how many houses we showed. It doesn't matter how many sellers we met with. I mean, we don't get paid until the transaction closes and is on record with the county. So, you do put in a lot of upfront work with the risk of not getting any payback.
And you work basically kind of for free, building your pipeline. And once you get that established, then obviously you can kind of foresee like, okay, how much am I going to make this quarter? Or
absolutely.
So
I mean, I think that Brittany getting laid off was really scary for all of us because Peyton wasn't even. Well, she was barely
she was 1.5, and I went back to work with Peyton at 6 weeks after having her. A month and a half. She was a month and a half old. Like now, looking at a baby that's a month and a half old, I'm like, I could not do that ever again, and I would never recommend it. Like I truly feel like. That is not okay, like in the state of California, like or in the United States, like we need to be better about advocating for women to at least, I feel like 3 months is like pretty good amount of time. Like obviously 3 months your baby is just then getting like stable enough for you to leave. But I think like that's, if you have to, like that should be the bare minimum.
Yeah.
But
well, and also it's like you're expected to perform at this level that you were doing before, and you're not even sleeping.
You're not sleeping. You're not eating the same. Your body is fatigued. You're still in pain, depending on whether it was vaginal or a C-section. Like you're still in pain until like a strong 8 weeks.
Yeah, your body's just still recovering and getting used to the new norm.
So I went back to work, and so getting laid off gave me I gave myself 5 months. I said, I'm going to take 5 months, and like this happened for a reason. I'm going to enjoy this time with Peyton. We had to take her out of daycare because obviously my income was gone, and COVID, like it was just, we didn't know what to do.
Right.
So I took her out, and we had 5 months together, and it was the best. She was a year and a half old, and she was so fun, and it was just like this bonding time that we truly needed. So that was awesome.
Yeah, and then I mean from there, Brittany was like, I think I'm going to get my license reinstated or renewed or whatever it was you needed at that point, and we started working together.
September 1st, I remember. September 1st was my day.
Yep, and we started working together with some boundaries. So we did develop some boundaries. We had a lot of conversations, to get ahead of things because it didn't work out the first time around. We wanted to make sure that we both felt valued and respected by each other. And we really wanted to be pumping each other up and being, lifting each other up so that we could both succeed and just have somebody in your corner. And we kind of started this business, just you do your deals and I'll do my deals. We have our own clientele, but then decided really there was no point in us doing this really separately because a lot of our people are the same. And to put them in a position to make that choice was not something we wanted to do. It was uncomfortable for them. And so we still do our own transactions, but people that know us mutually, like we are happy to work with them together, and we support each other's transactions 100%. So if she's got stagers coming and the photographers are about to show up and the house isn't done, like I'm over there vacuuming and helping move furniture, and she's, covering me while I'm, in Scotland next month or next week. I'm gonna be gone for 10 days. And it's just been amazing, just the support that we're able to give each other and just the confidence that I feel like we've both gained just having each other in our corners has just been, it's almost been like surprising. It's surprised me in many situations. We have such strong
personalities, but the cool thing is that we're both good at different things. So like
we really are. So like I would say Brittany's strengths really go back to like detail and just the insane,
my attention to detail
obsessive, compulsive like to detail is just Brittany's off the hook. Like with the cleaning, with the staging, with the visuals. I mean, it's over the top and it's just perfection, and it works because my strengths tend to be
execution. Like she'll be like, we need to get in there and get it done. And like, I'm like, oh wait, no, we gotta back up because I want to do that right. Like I want it to look like this. And like, I want it to present this way. And she's like, we have 20 minutes, we're getting it done. I mean, what is the saying? Like give yourself 2 hours, you'll
do it in 2 hours. Give yourself a day, minutes. You'll do it in a day. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm just really in there like cracking the whip, making her vision come to life most of the time, and just making sure it's all executed properly and that we're on this right schedule and that our time investment is
reels me back
it needs to be and what it should be.
As I have an anxiety attack, like, no, we can't push send. Like, it's not ready. It's not perfect. It's not, like I'm very critical.
I'm really
in that sense.
Yeah, totally. She's very critical and sees all these small details, whereas I feel like more results and I wouldn't say more results driven, but maybe productivity driven, efficiency driven.
Yes.
And we're both,
because when it comes down to it, like what we make per hour is like nothing. If
sometimes
you work for that many hours, if you take it,
right?
Because I can like do one CMA, which is a comparable market analysis, and I will go down a rabbit hole,
and it'll be 4
like 2
hours.
hours later because I'm like so data driven. Like I love looking at data.
So I love data as well,
and so data can just suck your time. Like
it really can.
And I'm like Excel's like that is my love because it's very structured. Like it's very black and white. Like I love that. And so
which is crazy to me because you're also very creative and like you have really good like visual talent, and
I'm a hot mess at home.
What do you mean?
Like I'm a tornado at home.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, you just go from one thing to the other.
You are crazy. Can you
do one thing at a time?
Close the cabinets. And I'm like, but my mind's going so fast that I'm like, I'm juggling so many different things.
You're doing one thing, your mind's already like two steps in front of it. So so between us, you get like a great balance, I feel like, and a really, really productive and efficient team that has crazy attention to detail, and I'm really proud of that. I'm really proud that we've developed that in the last 2 years. It's been amazing.
And I feel like we've spent so much time together. Like it's been really our relationship has gotten stronger. Like our
friendship.
We've always been really close. Like Leanne's always been like my protector, my like backup person. Like my second
security
mom.
guard.
Like it's like I can beat my sister up, but you can't. You know, like that's how it's always been. Like growing up, like. So I feel like we've always been close, but then this is like just a whole nother level.
Yeah.
And I can like relate to, because I feel like there was that like time when I was in college and you were like starting your family and you were getting married and like doing things. And I remember making comments that like, I remember after I had Peyton, I was like, I'm so sorry for saying that. Like, well, I will never judge your parenting skills again. Like this is way harder than it looks.
Yeah, she won't, because they're perfect.
Like it just
it's all maturity. You don't know until you know. You don't know until you've been through it.
And you truly like don't have the right empathy until you go through it. Like then you're like, oh my God, like being a mom is not that easy. Being a wife is not that easy. Being a businesswoman is not that easy. Like there's all these hardships
there's
that
challenges
like, you don't see. And I'm just I feel like we've got that has brought us a lot closer.
Totally. And I'm like the perfect person to offend, because I do not hold grudges. Like I'm like moved on and doing the next thing before you can blink an eye. And like our mom will bring something up. Remember when so-and-so said that or did that? And I almost sometimes can't remember the situations. Yeah. I'm like, I remember something happening, but I don't remember exactly what it was. And I don't remember, like, I'm not mad about it or upset about it still. So it's just funny to me. It's just, I'm always, you could judge my parenting and all that. And, I moved right on, kept on doing what I was doing.
Mama's always like, now you know how Leanne felt when you said blah, blah, blah.
Oh, gosh. And I probably don't even remember you saying it. So. But anyways, that's a little background on us, right?
Yeah.
And our partnership. And
and
why
we're
we
sisters, and we're rock stars, and we're
our last name's not House. We are the House Sisters because we sell real estate.
Yes. Yeah. And sisters selling houses. That's our tagline.
Sisters selling houses.
Our cheesy tagline.
We love it.
Yeah.
All right.
So keep following for more. If you like what you're listening to and like you feel like it's relatable, like put it in the comments, let us know so we can keep doing what works and change it up if people aren't relating, or
if you're like in a partnership with somebody in your family in business, or even a friend, or just a business partnership in general, and you have something like to share. I mean, I would love to just know what other people are going through, whether it's great or bad, or what worked, or something maybe you're struggling with. Like, or
topics you want us to talk about, like whether that be a personal or real estate related. Like, we're an open book for the most part.
Yeah.